Now listen to this story. I was once sitting with my girl in a nice-looking restaurant and a couple entered and sat next to us on a separate table. The guy ordered the most expensive steak on the list with several drinks and the girl just a medium salad and water. As soon as they finished, this guy asked to pay and he wanted to split the invoice. As the waiter left to prepare the receipt, the girl told the guy, "Sorry, but I didn't have that much money in my purse." The guy was shocked, he nearly panicked, but then he said, "Don't worry, you can give it to me later," and took the receipt with him as they left the restaurant. What do you think about this story? When I'm on a date, I want things to go smoothly and for both of us to feel comfortable and relaxed. I don't want there to be any unnecessary tension or awkwardness that could ruin the evening. Not paying for the date can sometimes create discomfort and awkwardness, especially if there's an expectation or assumption that the man will pay. It can create an uncomfortable silence or an awkward conversation about who should pay, which can be uncomfortable for both parties. This tradition has been around for a long time, and I think it's still a prevalent practice in many cultures and social settings. The idea behind this tradition is that as a man, I take on the responsibility of paying for the date as a sign of respect and appreciation for the woman's company. By paying for the expenses, I am showing that I value her time and enjoy spending it with her. It's a way of taking care of the financial aspect of the date so she can relax and enjoy the experience. I think this tradition is often seen as a chivalrous act, which is based on the code of conduct that was prevalent in medieval times. As a man, I believe in acting in a noble and courteous manner towards women, and paying for their expenses is part of that code. It's a way of showing women that they are valued and respected. Overall, I think this tradition is a nice gesture, and it's important to keep in mind that it's not just about paying for the expenses. It's also about being respectful, courteous, and appreciative towards the woman, and making sure that she has a good time on the date. Sitting there and not paying for the date can also make me feel like I'm not living up to my societal expectations as a man. As mentioned before, in many cultures, men are expected to be the providers and protectors, and not paying for the date will make me feel like I'm not fulfilling that role. It can make me feel emasculated and insecure, which can be uncomfortable and awkward. It's important to be courteous and respectful towards my date, and paying for the date can be a way of demonstrating this courtesy. It's a way of thanking them non-verbally for agreeing to go on a date with me and showing that I value their company and their presence. I also think that being courteous when it comes to paying for the date can help set a positive tone for the rest of the relationship. It shows that I'm willing to go out of my way to make my date feel valued and appreciated, which can set the stage for a more positive and fulfilling relationship. As a man, I understand that these gender roles were deeply ingrained in many cultures and societies, and it was common for men to take on the role of provider and protector. Back then, men were often seen as the ones who earned the money and took care of the woman. It was considered a man's duty to pay for the expenses on a date, as it showed that he was capable of supporting the woman and taking care of her. This was especially important in a time when women had limited opportunities and were often dependent on men for financial support. I think it's important to understand the historical context behind this tradition and the societal expectations that shaped it. However, I also believe that as a society, we have come a long way in challenging and redefining these traditional gender roles. Today, I think it's important to be mindful of these historical gender roles, since they have brought us where we are right now. To say it was all bad is a huge mistake.